Hello, YouTube artsy friends. Welcome into the Thrifty Apprentice studio. We're going to give some people time to join and then we are going to get started with today's live. It has been a moment since we were together here live on YouTube. Now, it was about time that we got around to doing some things. I really want to do some kind of exciting things with you today. I have been looking into art books that may be suited for beginners to kind of go hand in hand with tutorials that you may watch on YouTube or classes that you may be taking. And it's going to take me a moment to put together the entire video that I want to do. But I have been kind of working through some of the books, reading through them, comparing the way that they're written and the flow of the books. And I figured that today would be a perfect opportunity for me to just kind of do a couple of projects, specifically from one book because it's geared towards giving you ideas for really quick, easy, super beginner friendly watercolor projects that you can complete in under 30 minutes or up to 30 minutes, once you get into the flow of things. That would be really great for those getting you started illustrations for the day, those things that are geared towards opening up the creative mind so that you can go into a day of painting. So give me just a second. Let me get chat pulled up so that I will be able to see what's going on and talk to you guys. Kind of moderate the chat just a little bit because I do not have any moderators, so gonna have to do my best. So earlier today, what came out? Today is Sunday. Of course, we do have a Thrifty Apprentice release day on Sundays. Excuse me. And there was a alcohol marker review, if I'm not mistaken, came out GC Quill, where this illustration was done with those alcohol markers. Really cute set. I really recommend them. I like them a lot more than the Sanjoki, just based on my experience now, and I do have to always preference that. Just based on my experience, I like them a lot more than the Sanjoki because they do not yellow on my pages. And it comes with this cute little coloring book that's got quite a few pages of marker pad paper in it, and it does have a pretty slick surface, much smoother than the Ohuhu marker pad book, if that's what you may be used to. Anywho, so today I was thinking that it would be really cute to take a look at this particular book. I've done a project in it on Patreon the other night, and I do have a few things that I'm going to say as we get into the book. This is not a review, but this is sort of a preliminary feel for some art books that may be out there that, especially if you're a beginner, you can preference that will be really cute towards helping you build skill. So I'm going to just kind of go through the other books that are going to be included in the overall review. So you'll know kind of the idea that I'm going towards with this. So most of you know that I have read and kind of have raved a little bit about the Gene Haynes Atmospheric Flowers in Watercolor. Really decent book. Again, not going to say too much about it. Just want you to see that it's one of the books that's going to be included in that review. More recently, I've added the Christy Rice collection, Christy's Summer Cutting Garden, a watercolor book. And this is hot press paper. Now, this is more of a project book where you are doing projects directly in the book versus this being more of an instructional manual, so to speak. There's also going to be Claudia Nice, Painting Nature in Pen and Ink. And if you follow me, I'm a huge fan of using the pen, using ink with watercolors, using graphite with watercolors. So I really wanted to give this book a stab. I've read through the majority of it. I have not tried to do any projects out of it as of yet. But again, um, I think it's a really nice addition to the group of books that I will be talking about. As I flip through it, you can see how beautiful the illustrations in the book are. It's a really graphic book, so far pretty detailed. And last but not least, there will also be Christy Rice's The Art for Joy's Sake Journal. Now, I've been working in this one for a while. This is a hot press paper book again. I think this was maybe the first illustration that I completed. Her books are more meant for you to do the projects and the illustration directly in the book versus following instructions from the book. So in that matter, I do like a lot of her literature. With that being said, I will get more into depth as to the different elements of education that the book offers once we get to that overall review. So I'll be reviewing all 5 of the books at one time in one massive video. Just so you know where all of this is heading with today's live. So we are going to be painting directly into this book. It is meant for that purpose. It is 30-minute projects, watercolor, the easy way. Step-by-step tutorial for 50 beautiful motifs, including plants, flowers, animals, and more. And this book is written and illustrated by Sarah Burdenson. Really beautiful illustrations on the front. Again, not a review, so I'm really just showing you an overall look. As you can see here on the back, it's going to show you some of the projects. It's really for a more loose style beginning track of learning. And for me, I thought that would be really cool because, as you know, I'm super detailed. So I really felt like giving this book a try would be really cool. Now, just a basic synopsis of it. The entire front part of the book walks you through what you would typically expect with a watercolor one-on-one class. It's going to talk about paints, the different temperature of paints, color would break it down into color wheel, primary, secondary, tertiary. It's going to talk about all those different type of things. It's going to talk about washes, wet on dry, blending, all of those different types of elements, the different type of paper, watercolor basics. So for that, in that sense, I think that it kind of flows like a lot of other watercolor 101 instructional booklets out there. Where I think it differs a little bit are the actual projects. I feel like the projects are really geared towards someone who is an actual beginner, and it's geared to help you build the skills and the elements that you need to transition from the book and maybe be able to do it on a piece of paper or add it to a composition of your own. In Patreon the other night, we did, let's see, it was the margarita. It's the first one I've done in the book. I did want to test it out over in that community before I brought it over here. So here was, and I've posted it on Instagram. I'm more than sure. I'm not sure if I posted it in the community section here on YouTube, but it was the margarita, and I did use a different color scheme than the instructions gave. But basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. You get a page to paint on. It's going to give you a helpful tip. It'll give you the brushes to use in their size. It's going to give you a color palette to draw on, which references back to the things that you learned in the beginning of the book. Let me state that. But of course, you can always use your own color palette. No one says that when you're following a video tutorial or that when you're going through with a written instructional that you have to use the color palette. The point is to learn from the skill that it's trying to teach. So basically, I transitioned what I saw here to here. Pretty straightforward. It is built on a loose style so that it helps you feel like you've accomplished something once you're done. And at the same time, you really are learning different things. How wet on wet works, how wet on dry works, how the paint looks when you apply it from the 2 different ends of the spectrum. So pretty cool. Now, caveat, if you have this book, let me say kudos to you. If you do not already have this book This is not me recommending it. It is just showing you what it gives. But with the good always comes the bad. I always say there's always a other side to the story. I will have to say that I do not believe that this is the most painter friendly paper. um, I did struggle a bit with completing the margarita composition. The paper is does not have much sizing on it at all. I would not even call it hot press. I would call it a cardstock. It is, it's about as thick as your average office weight cardstock. And I do believe that that's exactly what it is. Um, Gouache would probably work really, really well on these pages. A heavier type watercolor, a more opaque watercolor, like if you have an opaque watercolor, or if you have hybrid watercolors, like maybe Ganze paints would work really well. Or maybe if you were going the route of thinking in the elements of painting on a greeting card or cardstock to create a greeting card. So maybe brush pens or watercolor markers. So I do want to kind of throw that out there in the atmosphere. I do not, although the instructions give you um, actually mainly a lot of wet on dry. I noticed that, and I think that's actually smart because of the type of paper. It's best to mm, use as less water on the paper as you can to pull off the composition. With that being said, I believe that the information that you're receiving and the skills that is helping you build is super, super, super helpful, and that outweighs the fact that the paper might not be the best because, as you can see, I was able to create on it. So that's kind of that on that. All right, so I'm gonna jump into the comment sections. I'm gonna see what's going on with you guys. See, let's say hello for the evening, and then we're gonna get back into doing this. We'll talk about what we're using and all those good things. So let's see what's going on. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome all my artsy friends. Good morning from New Zealand. Wow, hello in New Zealand. You talk about the other end of the world. Canada. Janor, is that? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Janor, from Canada. Hello. Leah's from New Zealand. Hey Penny, how you doing? Welcome back. Penny is one of our thrifty regulars. We love Penny here. Hello, Penny. Hi from New Mexico. Wow. Okay, we have thrifty artsy friends joining in from everywhere. I wish I didn't look a mess. I would show you myself on a camera so you can see how excited I am right now. It's pretty cool. I am feeling pretty cool. Hey Don, I love Don is one of our thrifty collaborators. She is a wonderful artist that has collaborated with the Thrifty Apprentice Studios several times. She's a huge supporter and she has wonderful artwork. She has a really whimsical style of her own, which I actually enjoy a lot. I love watching her. Guys, go check out some of her videos. Definitely. Hello, Miss Monroe. Again, we have some thrifty regulars in the house. Quail Feathers. Quail Feathers is our friend from Mexico. All right, let's see. I found this channel last week, but enjoyed so far. Well, I am very glad to hear that. We are crazy over here. We are all about art. We are all about having fun and enjoying ourselves, spreading love through art. My motto here is love joy. We spread love joy where we create art for the love of spreading art. We use all different types of mediums over here, so all artists are welcome. So I am so very glad you decided to continue to follow along. And hopefully you'll get something from it. That is the hope and the dream that I am able to share something. I'm glad you enjoy the videos, Don. I am. Uh, Pen. Well, Penny is one of my ride or dies, though. So y'all watch out. Penny is a ride or die. New Mexico in between Arizona and Texas. Okay, so as in, hello, get your life together, Ken. She did say New Mexico. She did not say she's from Mexico. I have it, Quill. I'm there. You have to look over me sometimes. I have watercolor for brain, so it can be a little wishy-washy. Just stick with me, okay? All right. I have been doing live sessions myself. I noticed, Don, I checked some of them out. They happen to have been happening. That sounded so crazy. So it so happens that you have been going live at times that I've been at work because I have gone back, to working 40 hours a week with AT&T. I don't mind telling people that. I'm actually, kind of okay with the company that um, helps to support the bread and butter that goes on here. Um, and of course, we are trying to build Defiant Arts. For those who don't know, there has been the release. I'm gonna always throw a plug in. Now listen. I'm gonna get my plugs in. Just expect it. So we did release our very first branded product, the 100% bamboo Voyager palette. It is a 24 half pan palette, really deep wells. Uh, so Defiant Arts and the Thrifty Apprentice has finally moved into branding and trying to produce products. So you guys keep your eyes out. That's just the first of many. First of many. I already have the second ones in the works. And since I'm on that matter, guys, look at this really cute little sketchbook I made to go with my palette. Right? Isn't it cute? It's cute. You can't tell me it's cute. That's cute. So yeah, I made this, and it does have 100% watercolor paper in it, and it's meant for me to paint on the go with my little palette. I do have enough room to fit another signature in there, in all honesty, but I was debating whether I was going to do that because the idea is to have the pages lay flat so that I can paint the full width whenever I'm painting a composition. So yeah, I made that little cutie the other day. You know, I had what about 20 minutes of spare time, and I knew I wanted to make a journal, so I used that 20 minutes and threw this little joker together. That's how the back looked, in case you want to see. Yeah. So, plenty of journal making videos on the channel. If you want to go check some of them out, you can, when you go to the channel homepage, check out the tabs across the top. You know where it says like video and live, playlist, community, and then there's a little search icon where the playlist. Hit the playlist and go down and find DIY. If you click on the DIY playlist, there are plenty of journal making videos in that playlist, where I guide you through how you can make some from pretty much any type of scrap you have laying around your art room. So go check that out. Go check that out. Let's check out the comment section one more time before we get started. Love your channel, and I'm learning a heat. Lee, that makes me feel really humble and really good. Thank you for telling me that. We love all the books. Well, you know what? So far, so good. I'm going to be very honest, without giving away too much. I have not found anything about any of the books of the five as of yet that has turned me off enough to not include them in the review or to have something good to say about them. Um, it's a lot less interesting when people notice the new one from the Mexico. I bet it is. I bet you people not noticing the new, like I just did, hello, um, opens up the door for a very broad type of conversation because people just automatically assume, wow, Ken, you're doing your thing. Yeah, Don, I'm trying, friend. When I set out on this, it was not just to dive into the world of, oh, I want to start a YouTube channel and just, do videos. I really wanted to push the envelope. I want to make a difference. I want to create sustainable products that are affordable, that are made from natural elements or things that you can put back into the earth. Because whether we talk about it or whether we believe it or not, we got to do something about what's going on around us. So cute. Thank you, Quill. I have no space, so I can't make any more sketchbooks. I hear that. Girl, listen. If I could, you know what? I need to do a live where I go through all of the handmade sketchbooks that I have, or just all of the sketchbooks, period, where I just show off. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Sketch, cute sketchbook and palette. Thank you very, very much. I make my own sketch blocks. I have, I've never attempted. I've seen videos on how to do it, and I have like a million glue guns, so I could possibly pull it off. But I should try it. I don't know. That is great. I struggle with making watercolor block. I've never tried. I really haven't. I really, really haven't. Okay, let's jump into this. Let's see what's going on. So I was trying to decide earlier on exactly which one of these compositions I was going to do. I'm going to flip to the front of the book so you can see. Well, actually, I do know I want to do the palm tree. And let me tell you why I'm choosing the palm tree. I'm choosing the palm tree because trees are one of the elements that you will paint over and over and over and over and over and over and over again in your watercolor journey. And to get down the basic concept of doing a tree, I think is a great thing for a beginner. So we're definitely going to do the tree. And right next to the tree, I flipped the page and there was a coneflower. Now, I love my flowers. And that's a beautiful coneflower. And this one is encouraging you to do it in a more loose style. Again, something else I like about the book. And for me, believe it or not, painting like this is a challenge because I'm not a loose. I want to get detailed. I want to make it look like it look. I have that paint what you see mindset. So maybe we'll go here. I think this may be exciting. So what are we using? What are we using? You can use whatever you want to use. Let's be clear. I pulled out a couple of different things. You can use like some watercolor markers. This is a really cool brand. This is 2C, but these are just watercolor art markers. They spread really well on cardstock. So I thought maybe they would work okay on this type of paper. You can use brush pens. This is colored. This set is was a refillable set of brush pens, but it doesn't have to be these. It could be whatever brush pens you have. I mean, we're not being brand specific here. This is, excuse me, 1 second, I have to cough. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. This is fun art. That's what this is. So, you could use something like this. Yes, this. This one is by Art Skill. I picked this up from a dollar store a while back, and I pulled these out because I am preparing to do the annual Thrifty Cheap Art Challenge. So that's why I have these out on my desk. And this one is a set that was sent to me by a company that wanted me to review them. And I did start to test them out. But the thing is, I did not feel like they offered anything different to the market from any other kid style watercolor. So I just did not feel like, doing it would just be lost in the sea of needless information because I don't feel like the set really offered anything different than any of the standard sets. And again, this one is Art Skill. If I'm not mistaken, you can probably find this one in like the Dollar Tree at this point. You could use something like this. This is a $10-12 set. This is Aurora. I don't know. This is a Phoenix off brand. So Phoenix watercolors. But this set just happens to be a 24 half can set by a company called Aurora. I've been testing the, what's this? This is the Magello Silver Class paints. This is the student grade to Mission Gold. Maybe I use these. They're sitting here. So it doesn't matter what you use, right? I got paint pot in there because I've been testing them. You see how those pans look? I love this palette. You guys know how much of a freak I am for a novelty palette. So I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna use some synthetic. Now this is So let's see what brush. Let's do the tree first. Let's do the tree first. And then, so tips we have here. Mm, Okay, it says have a girls' night. You know, whatever. I'll show up at a girls' night. I don't care. I'm coming. Scoot over. Where's the popcorn? And to a pouring paint with some wine. Oh well, see, I was just asking for popcorn, but she's suggesting wine, so I'm definitely coming to the girls' night. You know, it is what it is. Y'all got wine and watercolor. What? I'm there. Brushes. Medium large brush for tree and leaves, a number 6 or number 8. And I'm assuming this is a round brush that she's suggesting here. And then she's also suggesting a small medium brush for details, a number 3 or number 4. So let's see. I'm going to use Christy Rice brushes because they're sitting here in front of me and they're handy. Do I? No, because it really doesn't have the size rounds that she's suggesting. I could use that Joy Chaser. Where is it? Okay, yeah. I think this is like a number 6 round. And I love this brush. So I'll use that. And a number 3 and number 4 round is what they're suggesting for detailing. This is a 000. And this is a 0. Ha! What is this? That's a number 3. But there is a synthetic squirrel. And I really do suggest nylon brushes. Excuse me. Or golden Techline brushes. If you're a beginner, it's going to definitely help you control water better. That's my suggestion based on my experience. Now, of course, I always suggest that you use what you have, just like I showed you those paints. Even if you have like a rinky dink, you know, just like the everyday average or run of the mill brush. I think this is like a Banyo. And you know, this is like those mass produced generic brushes that a company has printed their names on. So you can like use even this. It's probably not going to come to the best point, but it's usable. Never let anything about your supplies stop you from painting. Okay? Even bad supplies, you can find joy, especially if you're just practicing. So, um, let me quit babbling and start painting. What y'all got going on in the comment section? Uh, So let me say, if you would like to ask me any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. Just throw a question mark before and after your question. That way I can spot it in the chat. Because I know you guys are really going to be talking to each other. And that is a welcome. I encourage that. Please do. The color, I have not used that series of pencils just yet, Don. Laura, hello, love. Laura, hi. I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy you dropped by. But Don, yes, no, I haven't used that series of pencils yet. Have you? What do you think of them? Should I try them out? I love her travel brush and palette. It's different and fun, especially just for play. I agree, Quail. I completely agree. I completely agree. Completely. Um, so do not let no, yeah, definitely agree about that. And this is actually right now, Christy Rice entire brush collection is my favorite set of synthetic golden Techline brushes because they really perform like on the edge of being golden Techline and like a synthetic squirrel. Because for a golden Techline, they actually hold more water than you would expect them to. So anyway, all right. So I am going to paint directly in this book. I did preference all of this by saying that this is not, by no means, this is not the best paper. It's gonna be like paint on a cardstock, but we are gonna make it work. So I did not pre-wet my paints. Please feel free to pre-wet yours if you want to. And I have these colors swatched somewhere. Here we go. They're swatched in this. So I am preparing for World Watercolor Month, which begins July 1st. I have already, um, I've already started the prompts for World Watercolor Month, actually. And maybe I'll show you what I did for days one prompt once we, start giving the first layer time to dry. But I did want to pull that out. I don't know the name of these. This looks like sap green that I'm going for here. I actually have a little plate off to the side. I don't want it on camera because I don't want the light glaring in it that I'm going to be using to mix as well. So I'm watering down, lots of water, little color, and I'm moving it quickly because I know the light is reflecting in it. So can you see that? Okay. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to come over here, and you know what, actually, it doesn't suggest this, and I'm pushing the envelope. You guys know me. I'm going to pre-wet this area. I am really pushing the envelope because this paper really shouldn't, it's not going to like this. It's not. But I'm going to pre-wet quickly the area that I want to put some of this color in. Now again, if you happen to have this book, if you get this book, the instructions will guide you towards wet on dry painting. And again, I noticed that is a lot of the instruction in this book, and I really think this because I'm gonna be honest, they realize that the paper is not the best for wet on wet. With that being said, I'm gonna do it anyway, and we're gonna get some color in here because I want that layer light. And basically you follow the contour of what's already there. That's what makes these paintings so quick. Now, of course, it's going to take me longer than 30 minutes to do this. You know why? Because I'm going to be running my mouth, and I'm going to stop and I'm going to check the comments section. I'm going to talk about all types of other things based on the comments y'all have going on. You know how we roll. You know how we roll. You know. I'm going to get this base layer put on. I'm trying to move pretty quickly because the paper is not sized, not really, so it's going to absorb the water that I put down real quick. And let's be clear, you're not going to really be able to lift and move color again, especially if you're working with a staining product like say the brush markers, because they have a dye-based ink in them. If you're working from a watercolor set that may be dye-based, for instance, as I said, you can use a set like this. Never let your supplies stop you, but be aware of what they are capable of doing, because I don't ever want you to set yourself up for something, right? So in the case of this particular set, paints like this are made with a dye being laid on top of a substrate. So main and chalk, it's truth be told, with a very big, some type of a some type of a binder to bind it together. And I can't and the reason I say some type, because I do not believe that they are all of the manufacturers use the same. And I'm not gonna I don't want to dive too deep into any of that. And all of this is at the forefront of my mind simply because, again, I am working on producing some other products, one of those being a actual paint palette, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in the future. Okay, so that is not going to take long to dry. I am literally going to leave that and let it be my base layer. Now you'll notice that mine is much, much lighter than what you see here in the book. If you want to, you grab some of that color, you adjust it so that it feels right for you, okay? And if you notice, I'm not being too careful per se, because this is that base layer and we're going to be adding that detail on top. And that's actually what's going to make the tree. And what I want you to do is retain what you're doing. Think about, okay, when I painted this tree, the first thing I did is I started with a base layer. I understand that that base layer is going to be my lightest color. And because in standard watercolor fashion, when you're dealing with watercolor, you work from light to dark. You would start with your lightest and you're going to be building your darker colors on top. Now, if you're a rebel like me and you've watched any of my videos, you know I normally work backwards, dark to light. But for the purposes of this video and following along with what was going on in this book, I'm not being a rebel right now, okay? I'm going to let some of that flow out. I really don't care. I'm telling you, seriously. I'm not really worried about it. Let some of it pull out through there like so. And you can even build on top of this lighter color with the same color in mass tone. Well, we're going to get to that in just a second. All right, let's move on and do something to the bark real quick. We'll come back to. So here in the color palette, you can see we have for our earth tones, that's going to be more of a burnt umber. That's more of a burnt sienna, maybe, excuse me, um, maybe a Van Dyke. It is printed. I can't remember what color she used. Let's see. Burnt umber. Yes, Van Dyke. Um, and then that color, I can't remember which one that was. That's really light. I would use yellow ochre, maybe raw sienna. Um, those two are kind of interchangeable in my eye. But basically, what you want to do is paint the bark light brown. I mean, it's really kind of straightforward. In this set, I only have a burnt umber, so I'm going to have to water the burnt umber down. I could mix a brown, but for the sake of keeping this video quick, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to water the burnt umber down and paint in. Not complicated at all. If you have this book, then you understand how straightforward and easy this is. I am really pushing it. I'm using way too much water in it, but it is what it is. Now I'm going to take a little bit darker concentration of that burnt sienna, a little bit more pigment, a little bit less water, and I'm going to drop that right around the top and let it flow down just a little. All right, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to leave it there. I just need to give that a second to dry. It give me a second to check the comment section, and then we'll jump back over here. I wanted to show you guys. Oh, I was talking about World Watercolor Month, but let's see what's going on in the comments first. Okay. Laura, been so busy with son and his needs. Oh, I'm glad that you have been able to get everything taken care of. Not too much painting, but I still like to watch my favorite people. Thank you, hon. Thank you for dropping in. And I know people have very busy lives, so I really appreciate it when they could take a minute or two out of their day to spend over here and listen to my craziness. No, I have not tried the full series, but I have been eyeing them. They are very the the presentation of the overall series. I'm one for packaging. I love branding. That's real. The branding is really cute. The branding is cute. I have to give them that. So I just don't know. My thought was, okay, do I buy them and then they're just like every other budget set that I've tried? I have so many art supplies. Um, I don't know. They seem interesting based on the packaging though. They really do. Budget wise, I'm still waiting to find a color pencil set that beats the Sue Color soft series. I mean, budget wise, when we start talking like extreme budget. I mean, seriously, where you're getting like 72 pencils for like $10 or $11. I have yet to find a budget pencil produced in that particular range better than that little round craft cylinder. Seriously. Um, let's see. Hey there, Thrifty in the chat. So glad to catch you in live. Is the volume low or anyone else? I have turned my volume up 100, just checking to see if it's on my end. It could be me. Maybe I'm talking low. Hold on one second. Let me check the volume on my end. Okay. I think I'm all the way up on my end. Hopefully that's better. I'll try to speak a little louder just to be on the safe side. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry that the volume is low. Hopefully, with me speaking a little louder, that'll help. Let me know if it's any better. What is the name of the book? I missed the beginning. Oh, so the name of the book is Watercolor: The Easy Way, Step-by-Step Tutorial, 30-minute projects. So that's the name of the book. I mean, so far so good. It's a really nifty book. It really is. I should have done the orange too, depending on how long. Let's see. And see, that's drying pretty fast, and I just smudged that paint everywhere. That's okay. I'm gonna paint anyway. I always smudge something on this. It never fails. I did the same thing with the margarita. Um, so I've moved. I'm holding my iPad at this point so that I can watch the chat and have my mouth angled more so towards the microphone. So hopefully that'll help out a little bit. Let's see, I usually watch my YouTube on TV, watching on my Chrome, and I had to turn the volume down a little. Come on, Chrome. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Awesome quarter. Yeah, I never had anyone growing up with the name, but a YouTuber. Done interesting. Using my artist loft paints like those the other day. Living believes we are used to bargain friendly art supplies. Um, you use your Christy uses the same exact artist loft palette that you're talking about. I mean, listen, budget art supplies are great, especially for the people in the market that they target. Um, the I think we're getting so tied down. We're getting too tied down. We're getting too tied down. Um, it for people for those that in situations it matters that you're not using a budget supply. In other situations it doesn't. And I say to let people live. Let people paint and live. If you're enjoying what you're using, who am I to pressure you that you need something better? I mean, if you ask me for my opinion or my advice, I'll give it to you. I assume that people who watch my channel watch because they want my opinion or they want my advice. I mean, if not, then they wouldn't tune in. Or, even if they listen to it, people make their own decision based on my opinion and my advice as to what's best for them. And that's what the channel is meant for. So, like, I give all of the relevant information that I can about a particular product, even down to the light, fast, pigment, transparency. But I'm not so self centered and stuck that I believe that's the only way to create. I believe that it's a necessity to create that way if I'm going to sell something. I feel that it's a necessity to create that way when I'm trying to teach why creating that way matters. But I do not believe that it is a necessity to create that way to simply create. It's craziness. Let's stop the madness. Everybody just create and paint and have fun. Um, okay, so hopefully that was a little better. All right. Hopefully the volume is gonna be a little better. Let's see. I'll have to maybe I'll have to get an additional microphone. Maybe that's what I'll have to do. Okay, so moving on to step two, and I'll be honest, I have not read much of anything here, but for kicks, palm tree, the first step. Paint the palm leaves in light green and the trunk in light tan. Use the tip of your brush, make thin, feathery strokes to create the illusion of leaves. Let dry. So this is what she was speaking of. Now, a lot of the work was already done, so I didn't necessarily feel it was necessary for that. But if I need to, I can always add those strokes in. So the second step says use medium shades of green, paint more strokes to create a second layer of leaves. Use a medium brown, paint little lines across the trunk for texture. Let dry. So this is what we're doing here. Now they say use medium shades of green. So first things first, I'm going to I'm not going to use that number 6 round. I'm going to switch over. I need something smaller. I thought there was one. What is that? That's true. I thought there was a number 2. There it is. Okay. I'm going to grab this number 2 round. And first things first, I'm going to start with that sap green and mass tone. Since I used it watered down, I know that mass tone is going to give me darker strokes. So let's start at the one farthest from me, and I will start with a stroke across the top. And basically, all you're going to literally do is using the tip of your brush, pull strokes in across what you already see. The point in a book of the sort, I believe, is to cover up the lines of the illustration. And I'm just gonna just literally, I'm just drawing lines on the tip of that brush, holding it at a 90-degree angle and curving it to follow the contour of the leaf or the palm frond, the entire palm frond. Can you see the difference? Okay, we're just building detail in that. Now, of course, if I wasn't teaching this, this would not take nearly as long. I would be moving much faster and possibly already done with this in the time that we've already been online. So I'm gonna try to, let me see if I can angle this more so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm literally just pulling that stroke in, following the curve. Following the curve of the entire branch, if that's what you want to call it. And that's basically how we're going to add in our mid-tone. And you're going to see an entire palm tree emerge as we build in color depth. And again, I'm still using mass tone color of the same sap green that we did the base layer in. And we're going to use that sap green as the base color for the entire painting. But what we're going to do is be adding a little bit of blue each round as we go, all the way up until I end up making a shadow green. So not only is it easy, the color combinations that you use are super easy because you really only need a green, a blue, and a brown. Actually, you only need 3 colors with Thrifty. So she gives an entire color range here, but that entire color range could be done from a green, a blue, and one brown, like a burnt sienna, a sap green, a ultramarine blue, and a burnt sienna. Those 3 colors, and that will be all you really need to do a palm tree. All right, in my opinion. You know, I have to say in my opinion. I have to say it nowadays. Because everybody does not paint the same. And I'm doing this at an angle, trying to hold it up, make sure that you guys can see what I'm doing. Yep, uh-huh. Just in case you're asking yourself, why is that crazy boy painting like that? Because I really want you to be able to see what I'm doing without my hand blocking the camera. And it might not be the neatest, but I think you get the point. I'm going to check the comments in a second. Alright. Yep. Oh, that one got kind of saturated in it. Talk about. Alright. And yeah, I got overboard with my needles. I wanted them longer, you know. They was looking like babies. Like they was gonna go to the pool party. I needed them looking like they was, you know, ready to go to a picnic. Alright. Let's see. Let's throw us another mid-tone. We're not gonna get too deep in the greens. We're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna keep it simple. So we put on, basically what we did is we put down a base coat of sap green, more water than paint to get a base color. Now we've gone back in using detailed linear curved strokes in order to start adding in the pine needles, and we use the exact same sap green, this time more paint, less water, making it more of a, milky consistent than a watery consistency, right? So now we're going to use the same sap green, and I'm going to mix into that just a touch of ultramarine blue. I mean, we're going to barely dance with each other because I don't want it too dark. Not just yet. And I'm going to show you what I've mixed here. So this is the color I've mixed. I'm going to flash it real quick. See? It's not a lot. And it's sort of like the consistency of a little cream on my palette. And I'm going to come in and throw in a second color here. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure to wisp it in and miss some of the area where we have that original mass tone sap green. Always keeping it dark across the top. And I'm pulling I'm pulling from that strip of color you saw me across the top. That's where I'm pulling that line from. Pulling that line from. Excuse me. So I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna do that again, and we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna move kind of quickly here, but we're gonna do that same effect to all. Now, I will keep reiterating this, friends. If by chance you decide to go get this book before I get around to reviewing it, please know that I am warning you that this is not the most amazing paper on the planet. That this book, it is more of a cardstock than an actual water-soluble paper. There is no doubt in my mind that it's a cardstock. But, as you can see, you can paint on it. You can paint on it. Let me mix up a little bit more of that darker green we were using there. Get just that touch of blue in it. Ultramarine is what we're using, right? Well, that's a little bit darker than I wanted it to be. So add a little water to that. Not sure how that's gonna turn out in comparison. Okay, that's almost the exact same shade. You did pretty good there. And again, you can see I'm not really being too neat with this. Things like palm trees that have those little details of such almost paint themselves. Almost paint themselves. Almost paint themselves. All right. Okay. That color is, it's a little bit more watery than I want it to be. So it's not, there we go. It's not really giving me, it wasn't at that point, but it is now. Giving me the stroke that I wanted. I want that to be able to start on a tip and glide all the way up to that line I put at the top. Keeping it very choppy on the end. Now, as you can see, mine is not exactly like hers. I'm following this concept, but I'm doing my own thing, you know, because I'm a rebel. But the point is to learn from the illustration in the very simple, straightforward instructions. And it really breaks it down because literally I'm just doing what the book told me to do here. Um, just doing it more than the book told me to do it because I like to go overboard with stuff, right? Yeah, you know me. Overboard King. I'm gonna finish this layer. We're gonna throw some brown real quick on the bark, and then I'm gonna check the comment section, and then I'm gonna show you guys what I've already done for World Watercolor Month so far. Because I did get started. I did complete day one, and I'm about to start on day two. But I'm gonna tell you a quick little thing. So I said that for World Watercolor Month, I was not gonna order a new sketchbook. I mean, I would have to be out of my mind to be ordering a sketchbook. Why would somebody who already has a million sketchbooks that need to be filled can make his own? Why would I be or could make his own? Is working on producing one. Why would I be ordering a sketchbook, right? Well, yeah. So I'm on Amazon and I run across some little, oh, cute size, 100% cotton sketchbooks by Lightwish, and they got me. Oh, they got me, girl. They got me. They got me so good. They just lured me in and took my little money. I was helpless. I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay. And it's Lightwish, which we know is the distributor of Paul Rubens. They have some really good products. And this is one of their own branded sketchbooks. One of them, yes, one of them, because I ordered three. I know. I know. Don't talk about me. One of them was 100% cotton sketchbook, 140-pound cold press, and the other one was a hot press, and it came in a duo pack. So that's why I ended up being three. Don't judge me, okay? All right. Let's paint some brown. I'm going for Mass Tone Burnt Sienna. I'm not gonna even play around. We're using the same three colors. I'm just gonna Mass Tone Burnt Sienna. And let's see. I'm gonna square it off a little bit at the top. Let's put some right there. And we're just gonna make some dashes. Maybe I'll try to keep them like hers. You know. I'll make my tree a little bigger because I went outside the line, but that's okay. We'll round it off and back down just like that. Gonna make it seem like that's what it was supposed to do. Alright, and you know, there's no rhyme or reason to this. You don't really have to do it exactly like that. You're supposed to get the point of what you see, right? And then just kind of go off on a tangent, like I always do. and never follow the rules. Once you see what the rule is, it's like once I see what the instructions are, right? My mind immediately starts to think about how to break those instructions. I am a weird kid. I always have been. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I'm that way. It's like, ooh, a rule. Let's see. What do you do? Okay, that's how it works. Okay, that's how it operates. Yay, how do you break it? How can we do this a different way? Is there a different way to come to this same resolution? I tell the story all the time about how I was one of those kids in school that would get in trouble about showing my work because I would come up with the exact same answer as the teacher. But they would be so upset because I wouldn't follow the process. You know, in some cases, there are some mathematical rules that you just have to follow. Exact. But maybe my working order wasn't the way their working order was, or the working order that they particularly taught it. Specifically, and especially when it came to like word problems and things of that nature. And my mother was always getting a note about how he's a smart kid, but he doesn't seem to want to follow instructions. Oh, woe is me. I miss being a kid. I didn't have to pay bills. It was fun. I did this thing called growing up and becoming an adult. Because I could have done art just staying a kid. I could have become a famous kid artist or something. I know, sounds ridiculous, but it could have happened. I don't look like that. Mine looks nothing like that. We're going with it. We are. We are going with it. Then I take a motorcycle outside. Okay, this is what I want to clean up though. This is a mess. Don't let yours be like mine, because I went outside my line, but it doesn't look too bad. All right. So let me check the comment section before we throw on the last layer and be done with that, because the only thing we really need to add to that now are darks. Like, it's really simple. And when you're done, you feel like, oh my God, I painted a palm tree. I am the bomb. Yes. Okay, let's check the comments. What is the name of the book? We talk about that. I watch on the crown. I like to establish my shadows first too. Yes, I love to establish shadows first. I don't know. When I have my darkest darks on the paper and my lightest lights, it just helps me see everything else in between so clearly. But because I learned the traditional way, which was light to dark, I still can, I still do it that way, especially when it comes to things like teaching directly from an instructional, because most watercolor instructionals, of course, as most of you know already, are going to be written along the traditional style of teaching, with the rules and everything. Ugh. Um, volume good at my end, great. Guys. Hey Tisa, there's another OG. There's another OG in the house. What's up? I just got back and see you're on. I love this book. I love this book too, my friend. Um, Thank you, Thrifty. It's a little better. It's probably more. I'm just getting. Oh, well, welcome to the club. We are all, that's okay. But it's like wine. You just get fine. That's what it is. That's what it is. And when something dials back, something else dials up. Remember, I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. When something dials back, something else dials up. Never fret. It's gonna be just fine. The paper is terrible, but for some reason I always go to it. Probably because it's not precious like my nicer books. And you know what? That could be it, T. So that really could be it. And the fact that the instructionals in it or what you're painting is like so straightforward. And that's why another reason I was saying like it really doesn't matter what type of paint you're using. I happen to be using this these Mission Silver paints because they were sitting on my desk. I was originally going to use the Bamboo Voyager palette, but these were there, and I've been painting with them. Which brings me to something what I was going to show you guys. So I'm going to show you this really quick before we throw on that last layer and get ready to wrap everything up. So I showed in Patreon the other night this little bag. This little bag is the bag that I'm using to prepare for World Watercolor Month. And let me just show you what is in it so far. I'm just gonna throw these in here so you see. So in here so far, what I have in this little bag that I'm using to prepare for July, I'm going to be testing 3 different palettes, which is why you have not seen any watercolor review videos come out. Now, I really do need to go ahead and drop the watercolor review for the Poems About You handmade watercolors, but honestly, I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. I'm kind of on the fence about that right now. I mean, I'll say I like the paints. I'll go ahead and say that. But as far as dropping the review form right now, I'm not quite sure. And that's because I really want to order a different set of handmade watercolors by a completely different company, so I will have something to compare. Um, Versus comparing a handmade watercolor to one that's produced in a factory or mass produced. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. We'll see what happens. But there are 3 watercolor palettes that I'm going to be testing throughout the month of July for World Watercolor Month. The first one is the one we're painting with today, which is the Magello Mission Silver Class Pan Watercolor Set. This is the student grade set to the Mission Gold made by Magello. I've swatched them out, of course, already. I've done some color mixing with them. Is this a Mission Silver? Yes. I've done some color mixing with them. And I've also painted a preliminary demo, which is the first day of World Watercolor Month. The first prompt is pattern. Now listen, I don't know. I said I wasn't going to show this, but I'm going to show it anyway. Because I'm getting a jump on World Watercolor Month early. As you guys know, I try to shoot some of the things, so I do need to, I have to start working on projects much earlier than most other people. So, with that said, the first day was pattern, and this is the illustration that I came up with for pattern, or that I'm using for pattern. Um, This is a acrylic painting that I found on, was it Unsplash? Or maybe it was a Google search. No, it was Unsplash. I found an acrylic painting on Unsplash. I found one particular part of the painting that I liked the most, and I cropped it out. I did take this. I am not sure if I'm actually going to post it um, because we're still just going to be posting the regular days, which are Wednesday and Sundays during World Watercolor Month. And technically, July 1st does not fall on one of the post days. But with that being said, um, this still may end up being a video that you see on exactly how I created this, the process that I went about. Now, this is in the original Jane Davenport Mixed Media Journal. And this is the second one of these that I have. Now, I actually love her branding as well. Uh, her branding, crispy branding. I think the branding is beautiful. These particular books were really popular when they came out. You just have to understand that it is a mixed media paper. And with this particular one, you can't do too much layering with your paint. So I did end up bringing in some other products to complete that. But excuse me, that may actually be one of the videos that you see in July. Another watercolor set that I am going to be testing during World Watercolor Month is, where'd the bag go? The Supervision 24 half pan watercolors. Now I have them inside the palette inside this Christy Rice Botanical Palette. At the top, I have the Paul Rubens Chow Made watercolors. Their 24 tube set. I just panned it up. And we've already done a review on the channel for that. You can check under the Thrifty review playlist if you want to catch the review for those. And then on the bottom part of this palette, I have placed the Supervision watercolors. Now, just like the Magello Mission, I have already swatched out the Supervision. Yes, I have. I've transferred all of the relevant information to the swatch sheet, which I haven't done for the Mission Silver yet. We did a video that has the mixing chart. Oh, no, sorry, that's the wrong one. That's Mission Silver. We have the mixing chart for the Supervision for color mixing. And we also did a preliminary demo where we took a Christy Rice stamp and blew it up into composition size and used that swatch stamp to actually create a composition. I did the details on the brush and the brushes, and then the actual paint puddle itself is a landscape. It's meant to look like the landscape is painted towards you. So when you turn it upside down, you actually get a miniature silhouette landscape inside the actual paint puddle there. So, you know, just a little trickery I was trying to show you guys how to do. Really cool. I think it turned out real cool. So those two are being tested. And then the third paint palette, yes, because July is a long month, and I figured it would be enough time for me to test 3 different palettes instead of just one. The third one that I'm going to be testing is the Vibranium. Where is the palette? Okay, I don't know where the palette is. That's what's so funny. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to be testing the Vibranium watercolor set. This, you guys know I'm a sucker for a natural palette, a novelty palette. Now, if you watch Lindsay, I know she's already reviewed them. I know. And I know what she thinks of them. But I want to review them. I want to try them for me. I want to test them out. And plus, I wanted this palette. It is going to accompany my very own palette very well. All this wood, loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. It smells amazing. Like the wood smells amazing. So, I'm really interested in trying these out. It comes with this beautiful quill brush, a number 4. Can't get it out. And Lindsay believes that these are a superior paint white label. And if that is the case, then I already know I'm really going to enjoy the paints, because I personally am a huge fan of superior paints. I have so many different superior palettes, you would just probably shake your head at me. So I have not swatched those out or tried those yet, but they are the next ones to be popped open and get prepared for. So those are the 3 palettes that I'm going to be testing. You guys can stay tuned throughout the month of July. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification bell so that you'll know when new content come out. You can follow throughout the month of July watching the paintings that I do for World Watercolor Month. And then all of the paint sets will be reviewed either towards the end of July or the beginning of August, because I really do want to spend the month of July concentrating on painting every day outside of everything else that I do. Just like 30 paintings. So let's jump back into this. Let's check the comment section real quick, and then we're going to throw on this 3rd layer and wrap everything on up. Okay, let's see. Excuse me. I can recommend 2 other books that are similar in style, but with watercolor paper. Coloring book of Lightly Outlined simple pick with opposite page example and not busy designs. All right, send it to me. Throw it in my inbox. Um, Quill, I'm late, but I'm here. Hello, Linda. It is so lovely to see you, my friend. It is okay. We are never late. We are always watercolor on time. Watercolor takes no time to activate at all. You grab a brush and get to painting. It's like the quickest medium in the world. When you are painting with watercolor, you are never late, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Um, that's what I need. Straightforward book. I'm so obsessed with the watercolor. I really love it. Indeed. So far, the tree looks good for being on that paper. You must be a very good artist. Uh, um, I think I'm okay. I have been, okay, let me put it this way. I've been painting long enough, um, and I've used enough supplies ranging in different grades and different qualities to know how to use a supply that might not be the best quality and still uh, paint a okay, decent looking composition. Um, I was not always able to. Uh, uh, you can create with anything. I've been saying it, and I'll continue to say it. Please never let this rigmarole that you are hearing from the gatekeepers tell you, "Yeah, this is practice." You know what I'm saying? I am not going to take this out on the street corner and sell it. First of all, I get sued if I did. But, even if I wasn't going to get sued, I'm not going to take this out on the street corner and sell it. When I'm done with this, it is going to be folded back up in this book and it's going to be put on a shelf. The only way anybody is ever going to see this is if A, they watch this video, or B, I pull it out and I show them. I am not worried about the supplies I use to do this. What I'm worried about is whether or not I'm absorbing what is trying to be taught on this opposite page so that I can transition this information from this book to a regular piece of paper, a regular piece of watercolor paper. You're not going to sell it. Even if you get this book, okay, say, like, here's a suggestion. Like, if you were to get this book, put it on a copy machine, put it on your printer, run it off on a piece of 90 pound, 117 pound, 140 pound cold press watercolor paper or hot press paper, whatever you like, run it off on that and then practice on that. You're not selling it. This is not, you can't reproduce these, but you can practice on them. It's okay to copy it and practice on it. It's not leaving your studio. You're just building skill. So don't ever let any type of quality question stop you from pushing forward so that when you get that great quality stuff, you banging. Shebang bang. You know? Let me see. Beam paints. What I miss? Beam paints. Maybe it comes here in a minute. Did you try deep like handmade? Linda, I've looked, but I have not ordered. Yes, it is on my radar, my friend. Thank you so much. The deep watercolors are absolutely awesome. Okay, there's a second on that emotion. Somebody might be ordering deep watercolors tonight. I'm not gonna name any names because I have too many paints and I am currently in a no buy. But somebody, and I'm just saying this for a friend, might be looking into deep. Deep is way too expensive, and the only people I see reviewing are in-depth, wealthy, or more concerned with aesthetic YouTube influencing. Interesting point of view. I'm gonna have to go look and see what's what. They are expensive, you're right about that, but great paints though, okay? The deep watercolors are almost magical, no doubt. I think you're gonna spend the money, go beam. So beam. There's a beam and there's a deep. They should put them together and make a deep beam. No. I'm sorry, I'm crazy. I love that paintbrush. I love the paintbrush painting. Thank you. It was really cool. Go check out the video. And look, check it out. Use the gear. Use the gear mechanism on the YouTube player, and that way you can slow down the time lapse. That way follow along a little bit slower. You know what I'm saying? You can mute me so I don't sound all crazy. Yep, sure can. I did just get back from a conference, and I'm a little in a rare form right now. Girl, you are fine. Yes, the color names are really cool, like prickly pear and rose. You know what, though, Linda? Let me be honest about something. And you guys may have heard me say this in some of my review videos before. And that's not to knock or poo poo on the paints or the palette itself. But from a teaching standpoint, it becomes difficult sometimes when you have paint palettes that do not use um, the artist's name for paints. Now, and I'm gonna be careful with how I say this and how I put this. If you are a beginner, if you're just learning about watercolor, if you don't have that much experience, especially when it comes to color mixing, I do not think it's an advantage to not have the artist names on the paints. It's cute to have a fairy tale pink and a push up poppy purple. It's cute. But what happens when you have someone who is not versed in color mixing, cannot just look at a color to tell what it is? You know, I've been painting for a very long time. So if even if I pick up a paint palette that has no names on the paints at all, uh, experience kicks in to a certain degree, and I'm able to kind of look at a color and gauge what it might be. Now, paints are complicated specimens because you see a color does not necessarily mean that's what it is, number one. And number two, colors come in all different types of undertones a lot of times. So I might be looking at a blue, but it might have a different undertone. So when I mix it with another color, expecting one color, I'll get something different. And you know, that gets all into color theory. But that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm making. I think it's cute that I have Ladybug Red. I really, really do. But I think it can be a disadvantage for somebody that's picking up a palette for the first time to have whimsical names because it's not helping them become accustomed to what they're going to see across a broader spectrum of products. Now, this is all just my opinion. Please don't persecute or shoot me. Um, but this is just based on my standpoint, especially from a teaching experience, having tried to teach with a palette like that, having tried to do tutorials with palettes like that. It becomes difficult because you're really just playing a game of guesstimation as to what color you're actually using. Not unless that palette provides you, and here's where I'm finna get a lot of people. Here's where the conversation is finna get complicated. When you have cutesy names like that, then yes, it's important that you pay attention to pigment information because you need to know what colors you truly have. You need to know how those colors may possibly mix when you start throwing them all together. I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Now, you know me, I'm one of the fence riders. I say, I paint for fine art, and a lot of times I paint for fun art, which is why everybody is always welcome here in the thrifty community. But there are some people who take some real strong stance on both sides of the fence. So I just think if you're going to, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're going to be someone who produces paints that have really whimsical, cute names, I'm all for that. As a matter of fact, the paints that I want to produce are going to have really whimsical, out of this world crazy names because you guys know I'm that type of artist. But I'm going to make sure that all of the relevant information is presented because it's going to be important for beginners or people who don't really want to care to see those whimsical names to know what artist colors they're actually using. That's just my opinion, and now I'm gonna move on from it. Sorry if I got too into that. All right, I think you will love it. The brush is great. Hi, Ken, love you. I love you too, Linda. Thank you so much for the live chat. Have a good evening. All right, Don, take care. Yes, all right, the names are all unique. Just got my full name. Good night, everyone. Good night, Don. So I'm really gonna have to try the bean. Nice job, Ken, by everyone. Night, Penny, bean paints. I'm really gonna have to try these beans. I really, really am. I agree completely about those names. I want the real names, so they are the same across all paints. Never thought about that because I have little experience in color mixing, but learning every day. Good to know. Whatever I can do, Linda. Whatever I can do, my love. That's just my opinion, though. All right, let's knock the rest of this out. I'm going to take the exact same sap green we've been using. I'm mixing it out on the palette, and the only thing I want to do is I'm going to add more ultramarine to it. Now, here's a little trick. Now, this is not in here, but check this out. If you use colors like neutral tint or colors like Payne's Gray, which happens to be one of my favorite colors on the planet. I hate Payne's Gray, it's not in this little palette. But if you have those two colors, those are really great universal colors to use throughout your painting in order to keep a harmony across your darks. For instance, you can intensify the shade of a red or blue or a purple um, with colors like neutral tint or Payne's Gray. So, check this out. Here's what I'm doing. I don't have a Payne's Gray, which is why I'm using ultramarine blue. I'm going to try to move quick because I know the light is reflecting in the glass. I am not adding a lot of water to that. As a matter of fact, I'm using that little itty bitty #2 round to mix to make sure that I don't get too much water in that. You want that to be the consistency of like skim milk. You see how it still moves, but it's got a little thickness to it. Hopefully you can see that. Now I'm gonna rinse my brush. It's only a #2, so it's not gonna hold much water. I'm gonna go directly into my ultramarine blue. I'm gonna lift that in and mix it directly. Instantly, we get a darker shade of the sap. Now I want to push that even darker because I really want something to stand out against it. So I'm gonna grab another round of blue and I'm gonna mix that in. And I'm gonna continue to do this until I adjust that green to be where I want it. Now, did I mix enough of that is the question. That's the question. All right. We're gonna run with it. We're gonna see what we got. Now here you can see it's kind of permeating from the middle. We're gonna do the same thing and maybe just here and there. Come down the top of it. I still don't think that's dark enough, honestly. I can go in with a darker shade, actually. I'm gonna throw that in just sparingly. And I'm actually gonna mix a even darker green. I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna keep that one. We're not gonna get rid of that one. But over here, I'm gonna mix off camera because I don't want that shining, but I'm gonna show you how dark it is before I use it. So I'm just gonna grab sap and I'm gonna go directly into my blue. I'm not worried about contaminating the blue at all. I want as little water as possible in this one. I want you to see, I'm gonna grab a little bit more blue and mix it in. I want you to, now I'm gonna do a touch of water. See how dark that is? And that's like ink. It's like ink. Okay? So then I'm gonna throw the even darker green in there, just in places. Just in places like that. Right? We may can even get a little shadow black in there. You know, why not? I'm gonna grab some black. Now, Do not freak out, traditional watercolorist. Yes, I do not have a Payne's gray in this set, so I'm using the black. But that's what it's for, friends. I'm mixing it in with another color. There we go. There we go. And I want that down like that. There. I'm satisfied with that. Let's move on and knock these out. Alright, let's knock these out real quick. I'm going with the color I mixed. Throwing these in just a little bit. And I'm going to move quick. Okay? Alright. But this will be a good lesson into how easy it actually is. I'm not really even paying attention to much. Now I'm going to transition over to that darker color. I did not rinse my brush. And I'm going to pull this one in. Right? And we're going to throw in a couple of dark fronds there. Let's do the one above it. Right. Alright. Throwing a couple in. Don't need many, just adding some dark in there. Keep your lights, don't get rid of them. Alright, let's knock out the rest of them real quick. I told you this was going to be super easy. This book is geared, and had we not been talking and blah, 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 would have been done with this. You guys see how easy this is. But you know me, I have to blah, 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 and show you this and show you that. Alright, let's switch over to my darker color. And a couple of those in. Not too many. Alright. That's good. Moving on. Next one. Coming from the middle. I'm going to keep the center, that light green though. So I'm trying not to go directly into the center. I'm going to go ahead and see. I need a little water in that mixture, not much, just a little bit. I don't want to lighten the color up. Excuse me. Alright, let's do the next one down as well. But I want to make sure I keep that center light. And be careful with the smaller mixtures you make. Try to rinse as few times as you can in between dips, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the more you rinse, the more water you add to those really small mixtures, like this one I have here, which is barely anything left. You're constantly breaking down that paint. You know, it's getting lighter and lighter. So it's giving me less of the dark effect every time. But I do want to go ahead and get this finished. So I'm going to get all of this green in, and then we'll go in and add the darker value on there. Okay. I am hungry. I think it's some barbecue in there. That some family sent over. So I'm excited about getting to that. Alright. Let's knock out that dark green, then we're gonna knock out our trunk, and we're gonna be good. Alright? And I'm just going across the line that was already included I do this one. Then I already drawn line. There we go. Bam. See? Bam. Came together real quick. Knocked it out. Moving on to the next. This is how quick painting can actually be. Especially when you're having fun. You know what? I don't care if this comes out right. I really don't. I just know that this is how I normally paint palm trees. So I'm just having fun. And it looks like that. Well, maybe not quite like that, but my rendition of that, right? We're always looking to add our own flair and our own spin on the things that we do. Make it unique to you, right? Alright, throw in these last little dark ones. Let some hang down on the bottom there. So you can see that darkness. There we go. I like that. Let's move on and knock out the trunk. And I'm just gonna grab some burnt sienna and I'm going mass tone mixed with what? What am I mixing with? Ultramarine blue. Told you we were only gonna need 3 colors to do the whole thing. You can create an entire landscape from those 3 colors. Ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and sap green. And let's be clear, and most times, sap green is a convenience color. I've seen some companies, I just saw one recently that just uses a straight PG8 to make their sap green. Was it supervision? It may have been supervision. By the way, I'm not rinsing in between grabbing the blue and putting the burnt sienna. If the top part of my little cake gets dirty, it's fine, I can always wash it off. Alright. Let's see. That tree, that's almost black over there. You know, what they got going on. We're gonna keep it brown on this side. That's almost black. We're just gonna keep it real. And I'm gonna attach the top part of my tree because I just don't feel like that was giving me much of what I wanted. Put in some dark moments amongst all this stuff. Can you see? I'm sorry. Is my hand in the way? It might be. Probably. Because I'm a retard. And in this case, I'm really just going down and just adding them dark dashes in some places. Maybe scribble my brush around a little bit. Again, it doesn't have to be quite like over here. But you definitely want to leave some breathing room in between the marks, you know. Maybe dashes here. Don't make them as big in places. Double and triple dashes together. It's kind of the same line concept as when I be showing you guys how to paint flowers and we be doing branches, you know. It's almost like the same concept. Let's see. I want to darken this up in certain spots along the inside here. I'm going to throw that color and move the brush around. I'm really not concerned with. There we go. Alright. There's my version of that. Real quick, real cute. That's what it is. I'm glad you caught up, Tisa. I did the same thing. I was using ivory black. I used to be hard for me to have fun painting because I wanted my paintings to come out nice the first time, and it just never did. I used to get so frustrated, but now I'm patient. Well, sis, let me tell you, I have some things that come out looking a hot mess. Do not let content creators fool you. Of course, what we show you on camera looks good. Of course. I cannot tell you how many flops I actually have, though. As a matter of fact, The painting I showed you earlier that I did for World Watercolor Month, the first day, that was really almost a flop painting. I had to pull in some other elements, some other mediums to save it. Listen, there is no guarantee and no promise that when any of us sit down to paint, regardless of how long we have been doing it, that it is going to turn out the way we think it is or we see it in our heads. So, sweetheart, that is all a part of it, and you will kind of forever experience that on some level. So, do not by any means be hard on yourself about that. It looks great. Kind of good. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. So here we go. This is another little illustration. Let me show you the first one I did in here. The first one in here was in the Patreon community. It was this one. So yeah, did that one. And I'm not signing any of them because they're not really my projects. I guess the artwork is mine. I guess I could sign it, but you know. So there's the first one, and now I've completed a second project in here. I think this one is really cool though, because basically it will help build skill for painting this type of tree and many other elements, especially landscapes. I really want to do that coneflower. I may do that off camera. It's a fun little book. It's a fun little book. And I was not supposed to be really saying that much about the book. But you know, you just kind of wanted to do all the projects in it. Once you get one down and you realize like, oh my God, I did it. It looks like it's supposed to look. I followed the instructions and you just kind of want to go back to it over and over and do them. So there's that. Do I have anything else I want to share with you guys? I think I am done. Keep in mind, we do have World Watercolor Month coming up in July. After July, it'll be August. Let me see what's happening in August. Can't think off the top of my head, but I do know August is the month that we do the annual Thrifty Cheap Art Challenge. And we're probably going to be looking deeply into some colored pencils throughout the month of August as well. Guys, I have so many colored pencils that I need to get open, tested, and reviewed. So many different sets. It's kind of ridiculous. So I might concentrate on that quite a bit in the month of August. Not that I will abandon watercolor or gouache or alcohol markers. I never abandon any of it. There is sometimes when I do concentrate on one medium a little bit more for an extended period of time, especially if I have a lot of products surrounding that medium, which is why people just have to accept that this is a mixed media channel. I mean, it's just what it is. Anything else that I wanted to show you guys? I never had anybody say anything to me about these. I'm going. I almost opened these and tried these tonight. I've seen them in a few videos from other artists, but I really want to try them. I'm a Sharpie fan because I love accessible products. You know, love accessible products. One of my favorite fine liners in the entire world is the Sharpie pen. I mean, like, and it keeps going. It's such a workhorse. When everything else fails, I can grab this pen and it's still going. Um, and I like Sharpie markers. I have Sharpie markers for like putting down my lines for testing opacity and things like that. And I actually use Sharpie markers to illustrate with. There was I was testing the poems about you, those handmade watercolors. Oh, this is actually, it's funny. I told you I was working around with some stuff for the Thrifty Cheap Art Challenge. And this is just me playing around with these paints. This is actually a mixed media paper. But basically, it's just going to be videos coming out where I'm showing you that regardless of the art supply, there is a way to create something that gives you that love, joy feeling. I'm just saying. It is. All right. So here, this is what I wanted to show you. I was using different types of markers, and I think I had some different types of markers, and I think I used some Sharpies as well. And I was creating these 3 little miniature illustrations, and I used alcohol markers and watercolors together to do this. So, real cool, real cool. I'm really trying to see what's gonna be up with that. I'm gonna probably do a video. Maybe one of my World Watercolor Month paintings will be mixed media where I use watercolor and markers together. But yeah, Tisa, I just noticed the comments. They look like they're gonna be fun. Um, I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna crack them open on camera with you guys in Patreon inside the Creation Station. So if you're a Creation Station member, hello, y'all better, there's some stuff going on. Come on, Friday nights, 8 p.m. live. I know you be busy, Tisa. I know, Mom. But yeah, I think I'm gonna crack them open in the Creation Station. So. And we're gonna play with them over there. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hopefully you picked up on something throughout this live that you enjoyed. You enjoyed hanging out, playing around with me inside that book. You can look forward to a review video that's going to feature all 5 of the books. That is Watercolor the Easy Way, Christy Rice, The Art for Joy's Sake Journal, Claudia Nice, Painting Nature in Pen and Ink, Christy Rice, Christy Summer Could and Garden, and Jean Haynes, Atmospheric Flowers and Watercolor. All of those books will be included in the massive book review. It's going to be after World Watercolor Month because I'm going to be using July to get everything together in the background. So more than likely it'll drop in August. So again, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you guys back here Wednesday for our regular Watercolor Wednesday video that will be premiering Friday nights. I'm going to catch all Patreon members over in the Creation Station. I think we're going to be using a water-soluble pastels crayons that night. I think it'll be real fun to play around with those, kind of do some flower illustrations and things of that, or maybe some I don't know, illustrations, period. Period. We'll draw some stuff. And then as far as the next YouTube live is concerned, I'm not sure when it's going to be going down. Maybe I'll try to start getting one in once a week. But until then, guys, have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and just keep creating.